Hello everybody, my name's Shalise. Welcome now everybody to my Jack Ryan Season 1 TV show review. Here's the thing everybody for the Jack Ryan TV show. I'm not the greatest fan of this show. One, just because I don't believe Jack Ryan didn't need a TV show. I mean, there's not much to his character other than you could fit into 8 episodes. I believe he's a 2.5 hour movie character max. And I love the Jack Ryan series. I love The Hunt for Red October, Clear and Present Danger, underrated one. Some of All Fears with Ben Affleck, very underrated, very good one. I enjoyed Patriot Games. Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit, okay. Without Remorse, the new one with Michael B. Jordan, it was good. Not the greatest, but it was good. And I'm hoping it will get better storylines. But Jack Ryan, the TV show, I just didn't feel like this show needed 8 freaking episodes. One, because they don't really... Jack Ryan as a character, he's a analyst. He's a paper worker. He doesn't want to go into the field too much. But that what makes him interesting. He ain't a James Bond and all that stuff. He is a different type of CIA agent, CIA officer. He's a different type of soldier in many cases. He's not like shaken, not stood. You know, he ain't the fanciest dude alive, but he's just a simple everyday man, which we all like about Jack Ryan. The thing is, though, they try to put a lot of, like, story. They drag a lot of the episodes with trying to basically get the backstory to get a backstory to the villain of the series. They do this for one character, like one Marine character you're going to get in the show, how he feels bad for killing, you know, terrorists or whether it's innocent Muslims by accident way because he's using a drone thing. They have a story arc for that character, and that takes a good amount of time. And you also have the terrorist, the main villain, the terrorist's wife. She leaves her husband, and it's all about her journey throughout the freaking Middle East and her trying to come to America or to Europe and how it's a tough thing for Muslims to leave a bad country. So you just see what people are going through, which is very realistic and very nice. It's just, again, a lot of that time takes away from the Jack Ryan and his character. But overall, again, there were certain things I knew that they were going to stretch out for the longest, and boy, did they stretch out certain things for the longest. I mean, they introduced Jack Ryan love interest in season 1, and then there's relationship drama. He didn't tell the truth, that little shit. But Jack Ryan, the TV show, season 1, here's the thing. They do the justice of keeping Jack Ryan smart, being an analyst, not being the ultimate superhero and all that stuff. Then you have his mentor, James Greer, who was played by, I believe, not Willem Dafoe, it was played by James Earl Jones, and in Harrison Ford movies. The thing is, though, this relationship between James Greer and Jim Greer and Jack Ryan is a little bit different. They're not like mentor and apprentice. They're no longer like good friends. A guy like Jack Ryan looked up to James Earl Jones's character, Jim Greer. This one, they're more like competitive with each other. Like Jim Greer is just basically, he was demoted because he did something in Afghanistan, and he was punished. So now he has to work with the bookworms and all that stuff. He's a little bit different. He believes how Jack Ryan used to believe. He believes he's a little bit more cynical to the world. Unlike Jack Ryan is a little bit more positive. He's a little bit more have faith in the system. Jim Greer does not. But so it's a little bit different from the actual novels and from the actual movies. But that's okay. The problem is I have with this show, and I know a lot of people are gonna say, you're just nitpicking, but to me, with the whole Tom Clancy novels about Jack Ryan, there was always this realistic world that he was always portraying, and every single scene and instance, and from what I heard about in the books, that it's very, he always tries to base his world in reality. Now, there are certain things this show does well, but there are certain things it does not. The entire first season is basically about a Muslim terrorist attack. That's basically what it is. Jack Ryan has to solve it and to make sure this terrorist attack doesn't happen. That's the whole point of the season 1. The thing is, Joel, for Jack Ryan, in the first episode, when they captured a high-value target in this one base in the Middle East, these soldiers who basically pay Islamic people basically to get them their dead American bodies, and they'll pay them. The thing is, all the soldiers don't open the body. An entire scene was just basically, well, how do these people know to go to this one place in the compound and outpost and just deliver these 4 dead American bodies at the same time when you caught a high value target? And at the same time, the Americans don't look at the bodies. I mean, because the whole point of the entire scene is because one of the Muslim terrorists infiltrates the American outpost because he does the whole Hannibal Lecter stuff, but the skin of the dead American on his face. He gets inside, and at the same time, he goes, when the doors are closed, he opens the other body, and literally is the worst stitching alive, and then he opens up the body. You don't think Americans are gonna, hey, American soldiers gonna, after so many years of Afghanistan that we saw in the Hurt Locker, how terrorists like to booby trap bodies and all that stuff. So you're telling me Americans who are constantly getting dead bodies and getting paid to get their dead ally, their dead friends back, are not gonna look inside? They're not gonna see a stitching. I mean, it's so bad, the stitching. It looks like freaking the Joker was when he had the guy with the cell phone in his stomach. That's how bad the stitching looked. And you're telling me, like, certain things like that gets to me. Certain things like that affects me. There was this one scene where basically the leader terrorist, his wife left him, and she's with the kids. She gets away. This guy who follows her gets hit by a drone attack. He doesn't get, like, blown up, but he's injured as heck. And 4 episodes later, he's still around chasing her, knowing exactly where she went, knowing exactly where she's gonna be. I'm sorry, you're just not getting me on some of this stuff. This is Hollywood BS. And I guess it's nitpicking, I guess it's not, but to me, it just takes away from the Jack Ryan experience about a realistic world. This show wasn't bad, it was just okay, good. It was not a bad show. It's not a bad season to me. It's a very simple plot line. Did they show what Muslim people go through in order to get to Europe and America? Yes, that's a good thing. To show what some soldiers deal with for grief and for using like drone strikes and all that stuff, how it affects them. Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that a great deal. The thing is, though, I don't think they would keep officers around who are literally sweating, have bruised eyes, and being all panicky and disobeying orders about, like, using a drone strike and all that stuff. So to me, I'm just like, I'm sorry, they kind of take the realistic way of life from the Jack Ryan series. And I know a lot of people say, well, you're nitpicking all this stuff. But the thing is, though, Jack Ryan, the movies and the books, they always set a standard. And if you lower that standard just for the TV show, just a slight bit, because the whole point of the Jack Ryan series is that the little things are very realistic. Sometimes little things could add up to big things. And to me, when you affect the little things, it kind of affects kind of like the whole story in a sense. It doesn't make it, it doesn't like destroy it totally. It just feels like, I feel like they could have written that better, fixed that better. I mean, there's some creative decisions that they made in this show that I did not like. Like, for one instance, this is a spoiler, by the way, the main terrorist's brother is killed off, like halfway through the episode. And then Jack Ryan goes on a date in the next 2 scenes. And then the big terror attacks. It'll be much more build up if you save that dinner scene with this girl that he's trying to woo for another episode. But they did this way, and it just felt like a stupid creative decision. So to me, the entire Jack Ryan TV show right here, it was just a very disappointing season of Jack Ryan. I didn't love this season. I didn't think the season was great. I don't think it was terrible. But to me, I was just like, eh. Again, it felt like you could sum this movie up, this TV show up in a 2-hour and 30-minute movie. 2-hour and 45. You could still have pressures what Muslim people go through and all that stuff about how to get into the countries. You could still have Jack Ryan going through post-traumatic stress disorder in a sense, or like still having nightmares about the time he was in a helicopter and all that. You could still have him getting a love interest. You can still have all these things, but it could have been a shorter timeline. What I want to sympathize with the terrorists. Okay, his parents were like his entire family was killed at the beginning because of like a drone strike. Understandable. He goes to France. He doesn't like how people look at him, and he finds it racist. Then he goes to prison. He meets his people, and he feels welcomed, and he becomes radicalized. I'm sorry, I'm not really having sympathy for a man who's ordering the death of fellow other Muslim people and American people. What am I supposed to sympathize with the terrorists for? Whoop-de-doo. You experience some racism in your life. Whoop-de-doo. Doesn't... Okay, that's like if a black person got assaulted by a white guy, and then all of a sudden the black guy starts shooting up all white people. Doesn't make it right. Why are you trying to make me sympathize with the villain? Jack Ryan movies, they had a sense. Like, look at Patriot Games. Like, Sean Benn's character, he lost his brother. He wants revenge on Jack Ryan. He goes after Jack Ryan specifically. But he goes after Jack Ryan specifically. And also his family. I don't need sympathy for the IRA mother effer that's gonna kill an innocent child and also just get revenge for his brother. I don't need sympathy for this character. I don't need sympathy for this terrorist who kills a whole bunch of people just because it's for because he went through some bad shit. Whether it deals with racism, whether it deals with some the death of his family, doesn't mean you take your anger out on people. I don't understand why they devote so much time to this character. I'm sorry, I didn't care much for this show. It was just I would give it a B minus. I didn't hate the first season. I just thought it was mediocre at best. All the actors did a fine job. Some creative decisions I did not like. It was just a simple story, and I just felt it was dragging along a little bit too much. But that's my personal opinion, everybody. What y'all think of Jack Ryan Season 1? Do you think it was a great show? Do you think it was a good show? Do you think the first season was alright? You think it was okay? Please let me know what you all think, everyone. I will be reviewing Season 2 of Jack Ryan, which is going to be very interesting since they're doing a social justice warrior history teacher is helping the Venezuelans because Venezuela is suffering through nationalist pride instead of, socialism, which is the truth. But whatever. Realism is starting to go away for a lot of Hollywood stuff. I just didn't want it to affect Jack Ryan, the TV show. But Season 1, not a bad season. Not terrible. Not great. It was just, So please let me know what you all think, everyone. Age at least. Alfred, everybody. Bye.